for as long as I want. Horses are my soul healers. They look at the world through unbiased eyes. They don't care if you're young, if you're old, if you're short, if you're tall. They're with you, right there, forever and always. So I took my horse, that's my sport by the way, horseback riding, to Beijing, and my favorite moment was definitely we were given time to practice in the actual competition ring before the competition started. And each country was given 30 minutes. So we were in there right around sunset. And let me just explain this to you. It's a huge open-air arena packed with stadium seating in the middle of a city, like sky-rise buildings all surrounding it. It's the weirdest thing to have a horse, something that I usually envision in the country, to be right smack dab in the middle of a city. And there's like jumbotrons and like cameras going around the edge of the arena. And let me tell you, anyone who knows anything about horses, that's a bad combination. Like, you're just gonna eat it. They spook at everything, and so it was definitely like a time to just get used to it and have fun. And I just remember thinking like, wow, a couple days from now, this place is gonna be buzzing with people. It's gonna be packed, and it's gonna have an electric atmosphere. So just soak it up, soak it in, and enjoy every moment of it. And you know in the movies when things like slow down a little bit, and like you're like, yeah, right, that actually happens. Like I can remember thinking, oh, hey, it was almost as if God was like, psst, this is part of the trip that I want you to remember forever, so I'm just gonna slow it down for you a little bit so you don't forget it. Definitely, does anyone have any questions? You can ask me anything about my horse, my sports, yes.
What's your horse's name?
My horse's name is Donnie.
Donnie.
Yes, Donnie.
Is it a girl or boy?
He is a boy. He's definitely a boy. That's for sure.
What color is it?
He is black.
Do you like race or do you jump?
Okay, so my sport is dressage. So has anyone seen those like riders and they're like tall little coats and they have their like little top hat on their head? That is my sport. I'm in a ring, and in the ring there's letters, and then I'm given a dressage test that is judged by judges, and so it'll be like A, down the center line, B, do a 10-meter circle, and then I'm judged from 0 being, what the heck was that, to 10 being, that was the best circle I've ever seen, your horse was so great, he went forward when you asked him to, he stopped when you asked him to, and then at the end you're given a percent. And that percent is held up against every other, and that's how you like compete. So that is my sport.
How do you get ready for it? Do you have any physical training that you have to do to be able
For sure,
to
definitely.
do that?
So again, just because it's the Paralympics, it doesn't mean it's like the same standards as every other athlete you'd ever seen. I trained 5 days a week. When I'm not training, I'm at the gym. I do Pilates. I have 2 sports psychologists. We talk to a nutritionalist. I have a physiotherapist. I have a massage therapist. My horse has a massage therapist. Athletes, right? So we both have to be in tip-top shape. Like, it's not like the hardest part of my sport is that my teammate is a 1,200-pound 2-year-old. So I have to be like, psst, Donnie, just so we know, we're at the Olympics. This is kind of important. He doesn't care, right? It's food and grass and in a field so I can run around. Like, that is the hardest part. Because let me tell you, if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. And my 120 pounds isn't going to make his 1,200 pounds do anything that he doesn't want to do. Getting that out of the way right there. So yeah, sometimes before we go into the ring, there's a little bit of a pep talk, like, hey buddy, just so you know, this is really important, we need to get this sort of score. He doesn't care, it's more for me, keeping myself centered and ready to go. Anything else?
How long have you competed with Donnie?
I just got Donnie about 5 months before I left for Beijing. So we're relatively a new pair. But I've been riding since I was 2, so that helped a little.
Who's your first?
My first horse, was a little horse about yay high named Chubby. And I wore my hockey helmet, and I trotted around an arena with people hanging on, and so yeah, when you're 2, you're just kind of there.
What happened to him?
He's old, so, I mean, he was old when I rode him, so he's probably greener pastures.
What made you want to ride?
What made me want to ride? That is a very good question. I have cerebral palsy, so when I was born, I didn't get enough air to my brain, so it affected my legs. Cerebral palsy, you can just walk with a limp, or you can be completely confined to a wheelchair. You can't speak, you can't eat, you can't talk. So it runs the gamut of disability. So this is how it affected me, my legs, and a little bit of my motor skills. So my riding looks like a 5-year-old's riding. But for me, horses allowed me, again, freedom, and also I could relate with my peers. They could have their baseball, they could have their track and field, they could have soccer. I had my horses. So when they were going to tournaments for soccer, I was going to horse shows. So they came home with ribbons, and so did I. So it allowed me a door in to stay connected with my peers, which in another way I wouldn't be able to, right? Anything else?
Who do you think was the most important supportive person you've had throughout your life?
So definitely, oh, that's a story. When I started with the Olympics, like ever since I was 6 years old, I was like, I'm going to the Olympics. It's my dream. It's my goal. I'm going to do it. After I got home from the Olympics, it's a totally different story. Like they were saying in Vancouver here, they were saying it takes a village to raise an athlete. It most definitely does. Like I'm standing before you today saying, heck yeah, that is so true. Because without my parents, who have been with me from the very beginning, there's no way I would have reached my Olympic dreams. Without my family and friends who celebrated victory with me, who sat with me in defeat, who answered, "You're following your dreams," when I was like, what in the world am I doing all of this crazy stuff for? It belongs to the thousands of strangers who, when I found out that I was going to Beijing and needed 10 grand in a month, thousands of people from all over this beautiful country who don't even know me sent money, and within 10 days I had over 10 grand. So I can't even tell you who the most, like definitely my parents, because they brought me into this world probably. So my dream.
That's an important step.
Most definitely. It belongs to strangers that I don't even know as well. And like I can remember telling my friends like, yeah, I'm going to the Olympics. They're like, I told my aunt, and she told her cousin, and then they told her neighbor, and my neighbor now knows you, and I'm like, wow, this is so much bigger than myself. Like, you become part of something so much bigger than just you. And it makes you, or it should make you, like, appreciative. And sort of, like, there are moments in your life when you're like, wow, I'm a part of something huge, and I should feel completely and totally blessed and take nothing for granted ever, ever again. Somebody pinched me because they just said, next coming into Olympic Ring 1, Ashley Gowanlock riding Donnie. Like, I've dreamed about that moment my entire life. But to actually have it happen, your heart is like, boo-boof, boo-boof, boo-boof. And you're like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, whoo, ha. Anything else? Third place, 4th, 7th, and 8th.
Wow.
So, and as far as coming up competitions is 2012, so that's the next Summer Olympics, a goal. Possibly in the long run, yes, maybe, kinda, sorta. I don't know. There's lots of steps to take before you get there. You have to go to this competition and that competition, and you have to get this certain score. So I'm just taking it competition by competition and making sure that I'm still having fun and my horse is still having fun, because if either of us aren't having fun, what's the point of doing it? Okay.
Was Beijing your first one?
Beijing was my first Olympics. I was too young for Athens, was the last one, yes? Oh, ooh, okay. Yeah.
Will you race Donnie in the next year?
Coming up in the Olympics. If Donnie is still